Shortbread cookies, one of my favorite cookies. And today I'm gonna have a chocolate and vanilla combination. Delicious.
Hey
I hope you guys
everyone,
like
today
them.
we're gonna make some delicious shortbread cookies. You're gonna love them, chocolate and vanilla. Let's get started.
So what I'm gonna do here is I am going to go ahead and add my dry ingredients into my standing mixer. And I'm gonna start out making my vanilla cookie dough. So I just have some almond flour in my bowl along with a spice that I'm using, which is mace. Highly underutilized, but I love it. Here's the almond flour that I'm using. I'm also going to be using some xanthan gum. I'm sorry for the lighting, guys. I was trying to adjust into the camera. I used a pinch of salt. That's the mace. It's really nice spice, almost like an allspice, but a little bit less potent, but it's delicious. And I'm also going to be using some granulated Truvia. You can use whatever sweetener you desire. And some vanilla goes into this recipe as well. So first I'm going to go ahead and just give the dry ingredients a little bit of a blend there. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients. This is my butter, and I have cubed it or cut it in small pieces, and it's very cold right out of the fridge. I'm sorry again about the lighting. There it is. This is a very simple recipe, you guys. And you can make batches of these, or you can double the recipe or triple the recipe and divide it into as many different batches and just keep it in the freezer or in the refrigerator for as long as you want. And then whenever you feel like a cookie, you just take it out of the freezer, slice them and bake them. All right, so all I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and mix that butter into the dry ingredients. Yep, and I had forgotten my vanilla, so there's my vanilla extract. And if you don't have a standing mixer, no worries. You can do this with a handheld mixer, or even just with like a fork or like a large spoon. It'll just take a little bit longer and it'll be a little bit more work, but it's fine. And it looks like this, pretty crumbly at the beginning, but it'll come together, as you'll see here in a few seconds. There we go. So it just becomes a dough. And you really don't need to mix it that long. When you see that it's coming together like this, you're ready to go. So what I'm doing here is there's my dough. I'm gonna just bring it together with my hands, and I have some plastic wrap, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this dough in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. I like to put it in my freezer for about 30 minutes so I can handle it. And here, as it is, it's room temperature and it's pretty much holding up pretty well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it into a log, and this is just going to make it easier to slice later. Make it into a log. I don't know, this was about 6 or 8 inches long. And then all I did here was I just patted it down into like some kind of a rectangle. And it's just going to help the dough get cold or set faster. Also, I'm going to mix both of the doughs, because now I'm going to make my chocolate one next. And you'll see why. So it's ready to go into the refrigerator or the freezer. Now we're going to get ready to make our chocolate cookie. And we're using some cocoa powder, some almond flour again, xanthan gum. And I'm going to be using that brown sugar substitute. There we go. So cocoa powder, almond flour, pinch of salt, xanthan gum, and dry ingredients into the bowl. I'm going to do the same as with the other one. There's my brown sugar. I'm going to just mix it up a little bit. Vanilla. And I like to do that before I add the butter. I made a mess. Before I add the butter, just to combine these ingredients, all the dry ingredients together, to make sure we have it all combined before we add the butter in. That way it's all uniform. So now here's my butter again. Again, it's in small chunks or cubes that I just took out of the refrigerator. And we're gonna do exactly the same thing that we did with the vanilla batter. It's just gonna come together slowly. It really doesn't take that long. Maybe about a minute. And there you have it. There's the chocolate dough. And honestly, you can pretty much just eat it like this if you wanted to, or you can even use this as like a base for a pie. A delicious chocolate pie. I must work on that. So here all I'm doing is I am doing the same thing I did with the vanilla batter. I'm just rolling it into a log about the same size as the vanilla one, and I just patted it down and made it kind of rectangular, the same as the other one. And now we're just gonna put it aside, and I'm gonna wrap it in my plastic wrap tightly and put it in the freezer just like I did with the vanilla one. And you're gonna let this rest as well for about 30 minutes before you handle it. Now what I've done here is, as you can see, I had already taken them out, both batters out of the refrigerator, and I just melded them together, I guess. I pushed them together and I rolled them into another log. So this is what I got. See that nice swirl effect, which I loved. It's beautiful. And I'm sorry I didn't film that part. But it's pretty self-explanatory. You just unite the two doughs together, press them together, and roll it into one log. And this is actually half of the dough. The other half, all I did was I left it stacked, vanilla, chocolate, and so I pressed it a little bit together and just made my rectangular shaped cookies that you see in the photo. And so I'm cutting these about a 1/4 inch thick, okay? And depending on the thickness of your cookie, it's gonna be the amount of cookies you're gonna get. I got about 25 to 30 of these small cookies, so quite a bit. And then I got another 25 to 30 from the rectangular ones. So here are the round ones. And make sure your oven is preheated to 325. You're gonna bake these for 15 minutes. And this is what they look like right out of the oven. And you're just gonna let them sit on the counter and rest. And here are my rectangular shape ones in the oven. I think these are so cute. And there you go. These are delicious, you guys. They're great with coffee, for your afternoon tea. They're not too sweet, so you're really gonna love them. I hope you enjoy these. Make them and share. Thanks for watching.